Hi everyone, I'm Sanjay Raj from the Energy Shift Method.
And I'm Preeti Watwani from Another Perspective.
And this is
the Two Bunnies podcast. Right, so today we're going to touch upon this topic that is very, very close to our hearts. Although we have been on this journey of, understanding our subconscious mind, getting awareness of who we are, why we are the way we are, something that completely changed our lives was this word called choice. And this word, I know it's really easy and really common, right? But we learned this modality about 4 years ago called access bars. And the beauty of this modality is they focus so much on choosing and choice and creation that it allowed us to take our life to the next level. So before kind of understanding what access bars is about, I just want to take note of that beliefs are points of views that we hold true to us, right? So over the past couple of episodes, we've kind of touched upon the topic of the subconscious mind and how we are all AI programmed algorithms and how we have these number of beliefs that have been learned or taught to us by society, by the way we've grown up, and how they cause us to make us react the way we react. And so what access bars does is taking all that knowledge, which still holds true of the subconscious mind, but specifically focusing on this thing called points of views. And so just to repeat, points of views are usually the beliefs that we have that we now hold as true.
Absolutely. And in access bars, the fundamental idea of the modality is your points of views create your reality. And the thing is, it sounds like a very, simple statement, but I think a lot of us live our lives the other way around. We live our life where we say our reality creates our points of views. So I'll give you an example. So typically, you might say, okay, given the career level I'm at, given the amount of money I have now in my bank, the amount of resources I have around me, based on this, I'm going to predict what is possible or not possible for me. And you can imagine what happens, right? Your possibility outcomes is very limited.
Yeah.
And when you think that way, you're always going to restrict yourself and hold yourself back from just a lot more open possibilities for yourself. Now, when we switch that idea around, where you start to change your points of views, your reality starts to shift. You start to create a lot more opportunities for yourself. So, I don't know, you might have an example on this.
Yeah, so let's say, for example, you are determined or you have decided that the market rate of today in terms of job opportunities are bleak, right? And it's not really good and no one's really giving increments. That point of view will now cause you to apply half-heartedly. It will cause you to not negotiate properly because, the market is bad. Who's going to give me a great raise? Or it's going to make you not have these really good conversations that you kind of can be having at networking events, right? So this way, your point of view of the job market being bleak has now caused you to cause your reality to match that point of view, that of a bleak one. Versus you having the point of view of going, you know what, let's see what's possible out there today, right? There's no decision make, there is no fixed point of view there. It is an open point of view of let's see what's possible. And that way, suddenly you're researching a little more, you're kind of looking out for more opportunities, you're networking a lot more, and then surprisingly, you're able to then find that opportunity that you did not know even existed.
Yeah, interestingly, you brought up that example. So this worked for me some time back. So, there was this point of time in my life where I was in a job and suddenly overnight they basically said, you know what, we are closing down this part of the company and everyone's retrenched. And that was a big shocker, right? And at that point of time, I had less than a year experience in a certain job role. It was business development. And my point of view initially was, okay, I've got less than a year experience and now I want a job in business development. Is going to be hard. Secondly, the kind of salary I was looking for, the kind of income I wanted was a lot more than what I was earning. And so in my point of view, because we used to be recruiters also, we knew the market rate for salary increases was 15% to 20%. Anything more than that, you're either pushing it or asking for too much.
And that's actually if you're in a good position. Being retrenched, some people even told us that you can't negotiate. Like you're at the losing end, so just go for a pay match in that case.
Yeah. Okay. So the points of views I had was I'm not qualified enough, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough experience, I'm at a low salary level, and I don't think I can reach my income goals.
Yeah.
So holding on to those points of views, it affected my behavior because then I was very reserved when I was applying for jobs. It was more of I owed them. I wasn't going for good opportunities. I was really downplaying myself and really not negotiating well in my interviews. And, I didn't get very far. So we did the work, we wiped out all those points of views and said, what else is possible? I adopted the point of view of possibilities. Anything is possible. And when I really internalized that point of view that anything is possible, long story short, fast forward, I got a role in business development in a company that was way bigger than the one I used to work at. And I got a salary increase of 100%. I basically doubled my salary. And the only reason I was able to get an opportunity like that is because I was open to it, and then I was open to the opportunities that came to me. I was receptive of it, and I went with that flow. You see, if I didn't have those points of views, I would just sit down and just be sad and just apply for one or two, like maybe minor roles and try to get up the career ladder. So changing the points of views really helped me to open up my career and my money potential.
Yeah, and I think this kind of work, again, it's a lot of modalities talk about this, right? Your subconscious beliefs, your programming, but I think Access Bars makes it very pragmatic in terms of the tools that they teach us, and it allows us to apply it to your lives in a very, very easy way, right? So just now Jay mentioned, if you notice, he said like he adopted this what else is possible mindset. And a lot of you might call it the growth mindset in that sense, right? But what we love about Access Bars is it allows you to dream in such a way where you take charge of your own reality. Mm-hmm. You don't fall into the victim or blame and shame mindset. Yep. And because you then adopt that that mindset as your day-to-day life, you then are able to then dream bigger in terms of the life you're creating, aka your manifestations.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think it allowed us to not just create based on what past experiences taught us or showed us, but it allowed us to push our boundaries, push our levels into ways where we were like, you know what, we'll see what's possible here. And long story short, in terms of that, I mean, Jay did get 100% increment. And then fast forward, I think 5 or 6 years, here we are doing what we absolutely love to do full time, right? We've traveled literally every single month for the last 12 months. Yeah. And this is...
would never have imagined, right? Based on the resources we had, we never thought this kind of lifestyle was possible. And we actually wouldn't have even chosen it.
No. Yeah.
So it's really shifting out all those points of views that allowed us to just open up our receptiveness of possibilities, and then all these amazing opportunities just started coming. The career, the money, the travel, it's just opened up a lot of things.
Yeah, so and sometimes you're just thinking like, well, I am an open person, right? Like I have an open mind. Like, I'm willing to receive whatever the universe is willing to offer us. But think about how much you focus on the how, right? Because as much as you're willing to receive and as much as you believe in the impossibilities of life, a lot of times we kind of get overworked on the how part because, well, we're humans, right? Or we've been taught that way of, oh my God, you have to plan, and a plan without a plan means you're bound to fail. And again, these are all points of views, right? Obviously, we're not saying go into a life without plans, but a big part of the life we live in is believing in the impossibilities being possible. We love believing in magic and miracles, right? And thankfully, as you go onto our page on Instagram, you can view them in testimonials, right? Yeah. We have clients coming to us where they've had job situations and physical health situations and relationship situations, and literally within 1 to 2 to 3 sessions, they have changed.
Things shift, yeah. And Preeti used the word like, magic and miracles, and we believe in that. But I think some of you in the audience might be thinking, I don't believe in this magic miracles thing. But so let me bring this down to more of a psychological level. So what happens when you adopt this possibility mindset is you open up the neural receptors in your mind to actually start to be more aware of all the other opportunities out there. And when you are more aware, then all of a sudden, you've actually got 5 to 10 different ways of achieving what you want to achieve. You just start being more aware of it. So what having a possibility mindset does is opens up your awareness.
And I think, Jay, I think you explained this really well. I think
Which
it's
one?
got to do with the RAS. Is that connected, or is that a completely different topic?
It is. The reticular activating
Yeah.
system. This is reticular activating system is the system in your mind that basically acts as a filtration system, right? So if you feel that things are impossible, you're only going to be looking at all the scenarios where it's impossible. So when there are possibilities coming at you, you're almost like you're blinded to them. You're not
Yeah.
seeing it. It doesn't come into your periphery, and then you just spiral. And I think, no, you use this one really good example with YouTube.
Oh,
The YouTube
yes.
yeah.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So it's basically like, imagine your life being like a YouTube algorithm, right?
Yeah.
If your search, what you're searching for is dance numbers, right? All your recommendations on the side will also be dance numbers. Now, if you don't like what you see, you can't really say YouTube only shows dance numbers. What you then need to be open to is the possibility of, I think YouTube is more than just dance numbers. And with that mindset, you're now looking at maybe recipes, and you've changed your search engine. Now, changing your search engine for now looking at recipes allows the recommended videos to also show you
Yep.
more recipes. So going back to what Jay said, it is the way your mind filters the information that comes to you. Maybe there was an opportunity lying all around, but because of certain mindsets and beliefs, you weren't able to pick it up, or you weren't
Yeah.
able to see it through, or you weren't able to go ahead with it, right? So I think what Access Bars has done for us is it's allowed us to not only be open, it's allowed us to create more, and more importantly, it's taught us how to live a life of ease with possibilities. And the reason why we both love this modality so much is because I think for a certain number of years, it was great for us to understand why we were the way we were. It was great to kind of understand our patterns. It was great to look at what shaped us as to who we were. I think I mentioned that twice, but you get the point.
Yeah.
But that all made us focus a lot on the past, right?
Yep,
And the past was
exactly.
something that we sadly couldn't change much because, well, we went through it, that
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
But what Access Bars made us do is focus on the
Future. Yep.
And I think one of our favorite quotes is, where attention goes.
Energy flows, rightly said by, and some of you all might be very familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza, and Preeti and I live by that, right? Like, if you're always focusing on the cannots, the impossible, all the reasons why that is not possible, then that's where all your energy is going to flow, and you're going to make that true. And if you focus your attention on what else is possible, what if it was possible, I wonder what other ideas there are that can help me bring me in that direction. Now all your attention goes, all your energy goes there, all your mental resources go there, and then it starts opening up a whole list of possibilities. And we've seen this happen countless times, not just with us, with our clients as well.
And for those of you wondering, like, yeah, this all seems great again, but how does this apply in real day life, right? Like, how do we live by it on a day-to-day basis? I think one of Jay's and our favorite tool is to just take a step back with every thought that we have. Sometimes, be it, I'm just going to use the word negative and positive here, but you can call it light, heavy, you can call it helpful, not helpful, but to just take a step back and think, is our internal dialogue in our head, is that actually the truth, or is it just a point of view? So do you have any examples for this?
Yeah, a couple. I mean, well, not off the top of my head right now. You bring an example. Let me see if I can come
Okay,
up with one.
so for example, the truth is we live in Singapore, right? That's our home. A point of view might be Singapore is really bad when it comes for business opportunities, right? That's debatable. That depends on the lens that you're seeing it on. That depends on the timing. That depends on the industry. That depends on so many different factors that you can't really say it is the truth. Is it a point of view that is true for you? Absolutely yes. But is it the truth? Kind of debatable, right? So, for example, you're in this rut and you're like, I have to sacrifice. I have to do this. I need to do this. Usually words that involve the words need or have to are usually more often points of views. The reason they are a need or the reason why you think you have to is because either past experience told you so, your parents told you so, society told you so, teachers told you so, all the list goes on, right? So I think for both of us, it's just being a little more aware of, are these actually the truth and it's the matter of fact as the situation is, or is it just a point of view that is now stopping us from creating a little more in our life?
Yeah, and now I have a work example. So, in the sales space, if you guys are in the sales area, there's this point of view, right, where when it gets close to December, when it's the end of the quarter during December, it's a very big downtime, which means that clients don't respond, people don't really, get back to you, everyone's on holiday. And so that's usually the quarter where people don't really hit their targets. And it's, people just believe in that and they're like, yeah, okay, what am I going to do? No one's going to call back or respond. And then you become less productive and you don't put in much effort in your sales. So if I kept holding on to that point of view, I wouldn't have actually hit my 100% and above, because there's this point of time, it was getting close to the end of quarter, it was Christmas period, New Year, and I was below 100%. And I was like, I really don't want to miss this quarter. I really want to hit my targets. But people around me were saying, Sanjay, don't really worry much about it.
It's anyway
it's this season, nothing's really going to happen. Just accept it. But I refused to buy in those points of views, and I wiped out all those points of views and I went into the what else is possible. Because I went to the what else is possible mindset, I started to work very differently. I started to be very strategic in reaching out to certain people, despite it being the holidays, despite it being New Year's, and I sent a whole bunch of emails, and very luckily, I got a lot of responses. I actually had the most responses from clients, potential clients during that period than I did in the quarter before.
Yeah.
And it was strange because all the responses that came were saying, hey, great to hear about this. And it was nice that you reached out at this time because, I was just on holiday, I was relaxing, and, I just was in a downtime. So I decided to check my email and I saw your message and it looks amazing. Let's catch up when I'm back on my holiday. So from that experience, that was the quarter where I actually exceeded my KPIs more than 100% during Christmas, during New Year's, and I was just really happy.
Yeah, and these kind of examples are pretty, I think the reason they're not at the top of mind is because so many of them have happened. There's a lot that's happened, right? So maybe we'll do another episode of before and after points of views, but what we're trying to get you to hopefully understand is a lot of what goes on in your mind that you consider as the truth can only just be a point of view. Yeah. So if you start understanding what your points of views are and you start recognizing that, oh my God, it's just a potential point of view, it doesn't have to be the truth, that then gives you a choice to choose different, to be different, and then create a different reality.
Absolutely. So maybe one great takeaway after this is to think about what points of views do you have that's actually holding you back?
Yeah.
And what possibilities are there that you really haven't thought about? Think about it and, see what possibilities open up for you.
And again, as usual, if you have any further questions, leave us a comment, DM us on Instagram at The Energy Shift Method, add another perspective, and we get back to you because we love connecting with you and we love hearing from you. All right,
we're done.
See you in the next episode then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.